morning, everyone. It is Saturday, and we have an epic battle that we're going to be talking about today. And SJW will fall. Frosk v. Superman, Dawn of Cringe.
Wow.
We are here for it. I am your belabored producer, Matthew Kadish from the Salty Nerd Podcast, with you as always this fine Saturday morning. And just real quick, I want to remind you guys that if you want to support the channel and you like what we do here, drop us some super chats during the course of the live stream, and we will be happy to stop everything and read them. But until that point, it is time to introduce our fantastic panel of nerds. Matt Vader 74, how you doing, buddy?
Hey man, I'm good. I'm here. I'm awake, and I'm getting reverb from somebody. But here we are. That's really messing me up.
Me too.
Do we know who's doing it?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm not hearing any reverb, but
I am.
I am.
Yeah, I'm hearing
Yeah.
reverb too.
really.
Technical difficulties, everybody.
Well, if you're the
I
only one,
muted my mic, make sure it wasn't me.
All right, let me testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Any
Testing.
reverb?
Not coming from Matt.
Hello. Okay,
It's coming from Matt. I think it's coming from Vader.
Why would it come from? I don't got nothing on.
testing 1 2. Yeah, it's
Not
on now.
not Odin.
Wait.
Check.
Oh, it's Crabapple.
Yeah, it's Crabapple.
No,
Turn your shit down.
Testing,
there we go.
testing.
but I'm on headphones.
I don't know. I don't hear
Don't
it
you
now.
love technology?
What's
Yeah.
up, Odin? How you
Hey
doing,
guys,
brother?
how are everybody?
That's weird.
All right.
Because I'm hearing it from everybody.
I think I don't hear it now. Well, now I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
there it is. Yeah.
I caught your
Testing
stream
1
the other
2.
day, Odin, by the way.
Yeah, I saw you. Thank you
Good
for
stuff,
the super
man.
chat.
That's weird because I was fine just a minute ago backstage. Oh,
That's
but there
weird.
it is. Okay. Oh,
Okay.
Are we good now?
Are we
Yeah.
good?
You want to start
Yeah.
over?
everybody sounds
All right.
okay.
None of this happened.
Take two.
Matt Vader's 74. How you doing today?
Hi, how are you? I'm here. I'm awake and caffeinated and ready to go. Odin's here. What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for putting up with my late arrival.
It's okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you for shouting us out on F&T.
Yeah.
It was very nice of you.
Oh, of course.
And he's here. He's queer. Brian from the Popcast. How you doing, buddy?
Hey!
Representation on the
Ready to party. I represent the Latinx LGBTQIA plus community.
Funny.
and Professor Sean, the Crabapple critic, is here. How you doing, Sean?
All right. Doing well.
I like it when Sean's here because then I'm not the oldest guy on the panel.
Right. You bastard.
Real quick before we get going, Sean, you actually had a premiere of a movie you made recently. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I did. So on the 29th of October, I finally was able to finish and premiere Death Ship, which was a labor of love. It was kind of like something that I did in my spare time over the last 8 years, I guess. We shot it over the course of a year, and then it's a completely virtual environment film, and it took me a long time to get around to doing everything and making it work. So we premiered it for the film club at the College of Southern Nevada, which is starting up fresh this semester, and actually later on this month, we're having our own 48-hour film festival. So if you've never been through one of those, it's 2 days worth of no sleep, and you got 2 days to make a movie and release it. So yeah,
it's so much fun.
They're going to be doing. I know it is. It's a lot of fun, and it gets really crazy. So, but yeah, the film club started up, and our the film club president is really. He's really, really enthusiastic. He's done an awful lot of things, and I decided, since I am now program director for the film, for the whole film program, I decided I'll go ahead and be the faculty advisor for that. So yeah, I've taken on an awful lot of new responsibilities.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to watch the video and tear it apart on the podcast.
I know, right?
A lot of fun.
Be gentle.
All of a sudden, after seeing the close-up of Sean on the screen, I immediately want to go do an edible because his lava lamp is tripping me out right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
70s
Right.
music.
Yeah,
going on in the
right.
background,
Yeah. Absolutely.
You don't see those very often. Not ones
No.
that work. You know.
So I want to give a quick shout out to everyone in the chat who's joining us this fine Saturday morning. Anthony Mark, as always, good to see you, Anthony. Keely Chow, good to see you here. Joker Voice, hashtag keep talking. Quantum Cat 76, good to see you. And Fluffy Panda, one of our top donators. Thank you so much for being here today, Fluffy Panda. Always happy to see you. And of course, Odin and Matt Vader are here in the chat as well. Matt Vader's job is to monitor the chat as we go through the day.
Poorly, very poorly.
But just another reminder, if you guys like what you see here, want to support the show, drop us some super chats. We will literally stop everything to make you a part of the show. So guys, go ahead.
I was just saying real quick, if you are here in Vegas, go check out Unicon today. Joker Voice is going to be roaming around there. I'm assuming he's going to be in costume. And I think Danny's there too with his Cosplayers Alliance. So Unicon Vegas today and tomorrow. So
Cool.
There you go.
All right, guys. So as you know, out of everyone here on the panel, I am far more important because I have a blue check mark on Twitter. And
That's
as
true.
yes,
That's true.
Yes. And as it turns out, now everyone's going to be able to get a blue check mark on Twitter, according to Elon Musk, the new owner. For a mere $8 a month, you too can be
Matthew,
as important
look at me,
as
Matthew.
Matthew Kadish.
Look at me. We are the celebrities now.
I am a blue check now. Yes.
I am
So,
the blue check.
So the big news this week was that Elon Musk is instituting a $8 monthly fee for a premium Twitter subscription, which gives you the blue check mark, but it also gives you like other added bonus stuff like priority commenting, longer video uploads, longer audio uploads. Apparently, there's going to be some type of podcast integration with it, and there's also going to be a revenue share type thing. So it's going to be like, you know, if you get a lot of engagement, it sounds like they're going to be doing some type of like share from the subscription pool or something
Sweet.
along those lines. We
Sounds
don't
good.
actually know what it is quite yet, but so when Elon announced this, originally the rumor was it was going to be $20 and people were rebelling. He's like, how about $8? And so now there's actually a meme, like every time someone complains about, you know, losing their blue check, people just reply $8.
That'll be $8.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But the biggest thing was that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez came after Elon, and Elon just epically trolled her, which was hilarious. So basically, LMAO at a billionaire earnestly trying to sell people on the idea that free speech is actually $8 per month subscription plan. Fun fact, you can still use Twitter for free, but if you want the blue check and all the bonuses that go with it, you pay for the subscription.
Which just
And
shows
then,
you how
Elon-
stupid she is, and anyone that actually thinks that she's smart is. Like anyone with a brain reads that comment and says, no, just shut up.
Yeah. And it should be pointed out that Elon made it clear that politicians and people who are in public life, they will not have to pay for their blue check.
I'd be curious to know what her net worth is now since her bartending days a few years ago.
Well, getting to this, Elon pointed out that she's selling sweaters on her website for $58.
Which ain't worth $58.
Yeah.
Listen, guys,
And-
because of my day job, it ain't worth $58.
It's probably put together in a sweatshop in Thailand somewhere.
Seriously.
So
Even if it was
Probably.
put together here, it would be like the cost would be
But-
like
But you actually had a lot of people kind of commenting. It's like, you sent $60 billion to Ukraine. You know, you can't afford $8 for Twitter. So a lot of them came after her, and she even came out and said, you know, like, oh, like we use union workers, and all the proceeds go towards underprivileged children or something like that. And then somebody fact checked her on the new Twitter because she can't get away with lying anymore. They're like, actually, on your website it says all proceeds go to your campaign, and they highlight it in the terms and service. And so there was a great comment where it's like, it only costs Elon $44 billion to own both Twitter and AOC.
Someone should add to that saying that, maybe she's just pledged that amount of money to charity in the
Well,
Amber Heard sense.
Well, this is just one
pledges.
example of current blue checks melting down
Oh,
over
yeah.
this news. Like you've seen a lot of journalists in particular feeling upset that they're no longer going to be special on the platform, and they've been coming out attacking Musk. And Musk and his fans have just been replying $8. He's like, you can rag on me all you want. It'll just cost you $8 a month. So I wanted to get your guys' take on this. What do you think about the new open verification system, this $8 per month subscription for Twitter? Are you going to be paying it in the future? I want to know your thoughts. Matt Vader 74, you're very active on Twitter.
I
Let
am.
me know what you think.
Dude, Twitter is so fun right now. It really is. It's so nice to be able to like log on to my little piece of toxicity here 24 hours a day and just log in and just watch people melt down. It is so much fun to me. I am that asshole. I poke people. I jab, I like to fire a little shot once in a while. But that's what you do on Twitter, right? You use Twitter to start arguments and plug your podcast. And that's what we do. And it's fun. And I'm really enjoying all the owns that Elon is throwing out there. You talk about the new $8 thing. I absolutely will spend $8 a month for my whatever colored check mark. And I'm not going to I don't really care about the check. I just want that edit feature. Because if you follow me on Twitter at all, I need an edit feature severely. It is. I forget to put in entire words in sentences. It's ridiculous. I'll post something and it'll make no sense because I left out half of it in my brain for some reason, thought I was actually typing it in. So then I was like, if I have an edit feature, then this won't be a problem anymore. Totally worth it just for that. But yeah, all those other perks will be nice too. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be paying my $8 and I'll be happy with my green check mark or orange check mark or whatever color they decide to give me.
Please make it orange.
I do think they're going to have different color levels or something, because I think press is going to get one, and important people like you, Matthew, will have have another color, and plebs like me will probably be like purple or something.
No, we'll be like brown. We'll be brown.
Just pieces of shit.
The top ones will be like emerald.
Yeah.
I want the politicians to be orange just because it'll throw them into a rage because they'll say, oh, it's like Trump's orange.
I mean, in reality, it should be purple, right? Like red and blue.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, Brian, you and Shane are both pretty active on Twitter. What are your thoughts on this, and are you going to be subscribing?
I don't know if I'll be subscribing because if you don't subscribe, it's the same exact thing.
Yep.
It's exactly. If you do not pay the $8, it's exact. Hey, we got super chat.
Let's see that. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
If we don't,
it's Matthew's job to cut you off, not your own.
My bad. If you do not pay the $8, it's the same exact experience. Exact same experience. No, but if you do, and you're like me, who has been, impersonated by people that have stolen my logo, my entire profile, and everything, and that have told people go to Telegram to win some money, then I had a bunch of people on Discord telling me that I scammed them. I wouldn't mind a verification system that I can actually access, because right now you can't. And honestly, I'd pay $8 for an edit button because there's so many times I wish I can go back and edit a tweet that I screwed up. I'm not gonna lie. And what's funny is now that the floodgates are open a little bit, I'm getting all kinds of followers that I didn't recognize before.
Yeah,
I just recently got followed by a guy named Horny Alf, and he's hilarious. Yeah, it's hilarious. I think that now that the floodgates are open, people can actually access each other, and I'm getting follows from all kinds of people that were connected at some point to, I guess, the Fandom Menace or whatever. But it's great, man.
I have noticed that the number of thoughts coming out and following me has gone way up.
Oh yeah,
in this last week. So
yeah, a lot of thoughts.
All right, we have a super chat real quick from Fluffy Panda for $2. I am that petty. I will pay $8 to annoy the SJWs.
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
Thank you for that $2. Really appreciate it. Now, Sean, I know that you are not on Twitter, but would this entice you to try it out?
How about no? I mean,
still a Facebook guy, huh?
Oh my god, no, not. I mean, I don't do any. I don't do any anti-social media. So the thing is that I'm still not sure. So this okay. I just learned about the edit feature, but I know that it's a verified account if you pay $8. So if I subscribed and paid $8 a month, could I be the real William Shatner? Could I how does that verify you?
No, it's still a verification. You still have to send in ID and all that. There's a process. Right now the process is closed. So when you go to get verified, there's no promise that anyone's going to actually care.
You're put on a wait list until they open it up.
Because we send our verification in, we send in 2 forms of ID, the whole thing, and it's been a year. So,
okay. My first thought when I heard about this was, I think this is just a way for him to pay for his investment over the next couple of years.
Well, it is.
If you got, you got a lot of people.
Sure
because Twitter hasn't made any money over in a lot of years. It hasn't been solved.
In fact, according to Elon, it's losing $4 million a day right now.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. But
here's
it's not.
Here's the thing. It's a product that basically people can use for free, and he's going to make it better, and we're going to pay him money to use the better version. That's called capitalism, right? He's giving us a product that he wants us to pay for,
and you don't have to pay for it.
You don't have to pay
important
for it.
Part. You want a better version, you can pay for it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or not.
Well, like I said, it won't entice me because I prefer to speak, to people personally.
I do not.
And I'm not the poke the bear type of person. I poke at my students. I get enough fun from that because then I can see their facial expressions when they don't get a reference that I make, and then I have to, let them know it's Fonzie. So yeah, I don't really care about Twitter, and as far as Elon Musk, is concerned, we'll see what happens. We'll just have to see what happens. I don't know. I don't have any dog in this race.
I bet you Jude's been going crazy this week.
Why?
Because of her favorite person, Elon Musk, being in the news so much.
No, she thinks he's the devil.
Yeah.
So Odin, I want to hear your take on this $8 meltdown, but I also want to hear your take on something interesting that's been happening ever since Elon took over, which is basically there's been this community fact check feature that has been in beta for a long time, and Elon made it public, and I think that's probably going to be bundled in with this $8 premium subscription thing where people can add extra context to tweets if they so desire. And this week we saw the White House put out a tweet saying that that they've increased Social Security benefits to record levels thanks to Joe Biden's leadership. And then that community added context feature came in and said, actually, this is part and parcel for this law that was passed back in the 1950s where it's pegged to inflation. And because inflation's so high, this is why Social Security has risen. And the White House was so embarrassed, they actually took the tweet down because they finally got fact checked for once in their lives. So what do you think of this development?
Well, the fact that he bought Twitter, I'm already pretty excited about that prospect because I'm not ready to return to that or really any social media at this point. But there will be a time in the future where I think I will be, and I think if he does the things that he says that he's going to do, especially cleaning up the bots, which based on what I'm hearing as far as how many accounts are being deleted, since he took over, it seems like a lot of bad accounts are being taken over, and also the fact that there's now going to be this process by which you don't have to be a part of this elite class in order to be, quote, verified, which should have always been just you are who you say you are versus, oh, no, it's actually more of an endorsement, which is what it became. So I think that him moving in this direction, it's a good thing. But at the same time, for $8 a month, I personally would want to have a little bit more as far as the actual features, are concerned. I think that also like the check mark itself, I think that should really be open to anybody. I think that anybody who is willing to, if you're willing to put forward your own ID, I think that alone should help you get verified. But just as we were mentioning, right, there should be different levels of verification, right, depending on whether you're paying or not. And obviously, if you're paying, you should obviously get much more for it. But overall, it looks like he's moving in a much better direction, and it's definitely enticing me to return to Twitter at some point in the future. Though I'm not at that point at this point.
Can I say something? Revenue share, if you're a content creator, and you're paying $8 into this premium system so you can actually share revenue on your viral tweets, actually makes a lot of sense too. The fact that's not even an offering, that's not even an offering right now. I'm not sure what people get off of spending all this time on Twitter creating content that they're not getting paid for. I thought there was already a partner program.
There sort of is, but one of the more interesting features about this rollout is that if Twitter is a subscription-based like business model, then advertisers become less of a priority. And so this move to the subscription base is actually a way to free Twitter from its reliance on advertisers for profit. And that gives Elon a lot more flexibility to say F you and go out there and do what he wants. So I'm excited about the future of Twitter. And I'm looking forward to seeing a whole lot more blue check marks on there. And because even though I am important and I am a blue check mark myself, I
time is
believe
limited.
Yes, I believe that other people should enjoy being as important as I am. So
I had a question though. Is that where the term originated? The blue check mark? Is that where? I mean, it came from a Twitter reference?
To be blue checked,
that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, because I hear the term, talking about, the Twitter brigade and stuff like that. Is that where it came from? Blue check mark?
Yeah, because next to your screen name, there's a little check mark in a blue circle. That is the verification badge. Essentially, it lets people know that you're verified. And so, a lot of journalists apparently it just came out that like the New York Times and all these like big media institutions like CNN, they paid Twitter out the butt to make sure that all their people got verified on there. So it was like a pay for play type thing. So the journalists, or the Twitterati as they're known, who all have the blue check marks, basically like they're just notorious for having these really bad hot takes and stuff like that.
Okay. All right.
And because they're part of this verification system that's not open to everyone, they're like elite. Like when you're verified, your tweets get higher priority in the algorithm. Other people who are verified will tend to follow you, so that you have access to more important people and stuff like that. And you also have like an extra tab in your mentions section that is dedicated to just verification replies. So like you can ignore all the plebes, like especially for someone who has like millions of followers, and just look at who the other important people who are following you are commenting on. So
and it looks like they also had input into like the content that was being put out. And that's why, like you mentioned, something that I think is already a positive, releasing that community feature, right? For people playing, already paying for Twitter Blue, who were a part of this, or who were invited to be a part of this. Like, because I honestly do not think, had Elon not taken over, I don't think that would have happened. I don't think the White House's tweet would have gotten impacted.
No, it sounds like a caste system, but
yeah.
I mean, we'll see. Like I said, it's
a total class system. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. Like I said, to me, I don't care. I mean, it's
and Elon is free knaves, us unwashed masses.
Yes. See, there he is again.
Yeah.
Did you hear the slap back?
I did.
No. It's me. I'm not slapping.
I bet you it's that psychedelic lamp you have.
It's my lamp. Yeah. Actually, well, it's kind of fitting because you guys are talking about all this new wave communication, everything. I do feel like Austin Powers when he can't, he's pumping up the shoes. And
well, Sean, if you could do us a favor and just mute your mic when you're not talking, that might fix the issue. So we'll just see how that works as we go forward. So guys, let's talk a little bit about Henry Cavill quitting The Witcher. Now, this kind of came out of, well, I guess I wouldn't say nowhere, because he was confirmed to be coming back as Superman, and that requires a certain amount of time commitment and stuff like that. But the big news here is that he was previously on record saying he was committed to 7 seasons of the show. And it turns out that he's leaving after 3 seasons, and he's being replaced by the lesser Hemsworth, Liam Hemsworth. And it's kind of an odd choice. He's going to have some big shoes to fill. But there's been a lot of rumors going around about why Henry Cavill decided to leave. And there's been more and more stuff coming out about problems that people on the production have been having with the showrunners and producers by basically saying that they're more interested in identity politics and big special effects than they are about staying true to the source material. And one of the reasons Henry Cavill signed on to do The Witcher was because he was a big fan of the books. He wanted to do something that was very faithful to the original novels. And apparently he's been feeling ever since season 2 that, you know, he's kind of like a supporting player in, you know, his own show, because I think he came from the video games. He was a big fan of the video games. And this is something that a lot of fans of The Witchers have been kind of echoing is the fact that The Witcher isn't really about Geralt. You know, it's about Ciri and Yennefer and all the women and stuff like that. And so there's been a lot of kind of like controversy over the last couple of days about, like, you know, The Witcher is basically dead on arrival after season 3. Liam Hemsworth isn't going to be able to carry the show. Fans are going to be checking out. So I wanted to hear your guys' take on this. Odin, we'll start with you. Do you think The Witcher is basically dead after season 4? And what do you think of this news of Henry Cavill exiting?
Yeah, no, I absolutely do, because I have seen all the seasons of the show, and I actually am one that I didn't mind the last season all that much. There were actually a couple of episodes that I thought were pretty good, and I actually enjoyed it. But I think with him leaving the show, it is going to be that death knell for it, because it was already, I think, kind of on thin ice, because people, I think, were only sticking around mostly because of Cavill's involvement. Now with him gone, I don't know if you're going to have enough people who have become fans of the other characters or the other actors portraying those characters. And as you mentioned, Liam Hemsworth is not nearly as much of a name, I think, or as much of a presence as a Henry Cavill is. And so, you know, obviously I think it's worth giving a shot to. Might as well try it out. But if not, then, you know, if for any reason the issue still persists, where it just stays uninteresting, then ultimately, yeah, I think that the show is not going to make it past many more seasons. And it's sad to me, just because Henry Cavill, it seemed to be a passion project for him originally, right? Because he's someone who loves the game. So it's almost sad that he's leaving, because it's like he's leaving something, you know, unfinished. And I know that he's going to be busy, especially with him being reintroduced officially as Superman within the DCEU. And Lord knows the Justice League project is a massive cluster right now. So he's probably, you know, focusing a lot on that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, to say the very least, how it does.
So Brian, are you surprised that instead of casting Liam Hemsworth, they didn't cast a black gay female in the role of Geralt?
No, I'm not. No. You son of a bitch.
Well, as the queer representation on the panel, I wanted to get your perspective on this.
I don't even answer this question, bro. What the fuck? No, I'm not. I'm not at all. About Henry Cavill leaving The Witcher, everyone that's crying about it, you need to realize from his perspective, Witcher series, Superman. Those are the two options. Like, hey, Witcher, fun game, smaller Netflix show, where he's not even really the main character. And Superman, most iconic character of all time in this country. Which one would you guys? Oh, $8 million for a season, $27 million for a movie. I mean, there's no comparison. It's an obvious choice. He should leave and focus on it. Plus, you know, they have different hairstyles. Like, Superman requires him to have, when he's shooting, he can't have a mustache. Obviously, we've gone through that. And, you know, he's gotta have his hair. His hair's gotta be black or whatever, you know. So it requires him to not be doing other things that require him to have white hair or a beard or whatever, you know. So,
well, I mean, that's a wig, though. Like, he doesn't have to really change his hair for Geralt.
I mean, but he's got different shooting places. Like, you need to focus on what's going to make you the most money and give you the most legacy. Superman's gonna do that. Like no one's gonna remember Witcher in 10 years. It's gonna be one of those shows that was like, oh, that was sort of fun.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
So one of the big things was that The Witcher shoots primarily in Eastern Europe, I believe, and so that was a factor because there are people who can do like TV shows and movies just through like the scheduling and stuff like that. But I think that in addition to all like the logistical problems with shooting The Witcher, and also Cavill being unhappy with the direction in which it was going creatively, and him getting recast as Superman definitely kind of moved him towards like, I think I'm going to step away from this. But it's a shame because, he's the heart and soul of that show. I think people tune into that show to see him play this iconic character. And now that he's not going to be involved in it anymore, it's probably not going to do all that well, especially considering Netflix's habit of canceling shows after 3 seasons.
Right.
Matt Vader 74, what's your take on this? You're muted, Matt.
Oh, that's professional. So, here's my take. I don't really care a whole lot, as I don't really like The Witcher show. I think it's a great move on Henry Cavill's part. The only reason I watched The Witcher was just to see Henry Cavill, do his thing, because he is a really good character there, and it's fun. But the show I never really felt was completely about him. So he's really the only reason that I was watching. Season 1, I mean, let's just be honest here. Season 1 was terrible. It was fucking terrible. Okay. It was just this time skippy bunch of gobbledygook nonsense that nobody could follow with the weird, wrinkly skin armor. And I hated it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And season 2, while it was better, it never really captured what I think people really wanted this show to be. But it was better. Season 2 was better. But now that they announced this, season 3 hasn't even come out yet, right? And
That's correct.
So I have zero interest in watching season 3 now, because I know Cavill's leaving for season 4. So I think they should have like not even mentioned this until season 3 was complete. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really care about this show at this point at all. The little interest that I had for it is completely gone. So that's what I think. I think they just kind of shot themselves in the foot by letting this get out that he is going away. As far as him playing Superman, I am ecstatic about that. I want to see a Superman movie. I want to see several Superman movies. I want to see him, make lots of cameos in other DC movies. I'm excited for the DC universe right now.
Amen.
Let's go. Let's have some good Superman again. I just don't care about The Witcher. I think he made a great choice. I think he's an awesome nerd. Now I am giving my feedback. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm hearing that feedback too.
And
do you not hear it anymore?
Told you it wasn't me.
Nope, no more.
Okay. Well, that second one, that new one was me, because I was making sure, because I have my mix minus on here. So
No, it's still you. Yeah.
But
I'm with you though, Matt. Superman, I'm so stoked for the DC universe right now.
Chat, can you let us know if there's still an echo on your guys' end? We want to make sure that you can still listen to it.
because I didn't hear it when you were talking.
I don't hear it when
I don't hear it now.
It's gone now.
That's okay. Let's move on. Let's
All right. I want to throw this.
I hear it when I talk.
Yeah.
So.
I want to throw this to Sean real quick. Sean, one of the interesting things that came out when they announced that Cavill was leaving The Witcher was that with his new duties as Superman, he had a fundamental disagreement with Snyder's vision of Superman, where it was like this darker kind of put upon God who's like very somber. And Cavill actually wanted to go more towards the hopeful Christopher Reeve style Superman, where he's dressed in bright colors. He's got the swirl with the hair. He's a symbol for, peace and unity, and what mankind can strive to achieve in terms of morality and goodness, and he's the Christ figure basically, and that was more the direction that Cavill wanted to go in. And now that Snyder's out of the picture, Cavill has a little bit more influence to take the character in that traditional direction. So what do you think of this? Do you think The Witcher is going to kind of continue on with Liam Hemsworth, or do you think it's going to get canceled? And what do you think of the new direction for Superman that Cavill is promoting?
Well, I never really got into. Yeah, it's weird. You're the only one not affected. I'm getting the slap back. It's so weird.
Does anyone not have headphones on?
I mean,
I think we're all using headphones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's well. I never really got into The Witcher. It lost me the first episode because I just saw a couple of things that I knew where it was going to go. What was going to happen. So I was like, oh boy, I can't get into this. Henry's almost 40. So he's getting up there. If he takes Superman in another direction, I'm happy for it. Because give him back his underwear, and give him the spit curl and make the costume out of spandex. I'm down with it. I'm glad to hear that at least Henry is willing to do this and make a change. But he can only do so many because, like I said, he's almost 40.
Real quick, Odin. I
Yes.
seem to remember you saying that you run your audio through a Rodecaster Pro. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So in the settings, make sure that it's Rodecaster Pro stereo that's going through StreamYards.
For speaker?
For your input and for the audio out.
They're both there.
Yeah, Crab Apple needs to do the same thing. It's
I even just turned echo cancellation off or on rather, and it's still.
Well, the audio out should be your whatever is feeding your headphones, which would be like your computer stuff. But going in, it needs to be set on the stereo phase. We deal with this in our studio all the time because we use a
Both are set
Pro as
to
well.
that.
Okay. And are we still getting reverb here? Are we still getting
When you
echoes?
speak, I don't hear it. When I
I'm
speak,
not
I
hearing
just
it.
heard after myself.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing any echo. Okay.
That's so weird. Maybe it's just StreamYards being silly.
It's possible. StreamYards can be a little wonky with audio stuff. But we haven't had this problem on previous live streams.
no, we
Let's,
haven't.
let's get these super chats out of the way.
Okay.
Welcome to the Tech Issue
Yay!
Show.
Fluffy Panda for $5. Thank you very much, Fluffy. I didn't think Henry's stock could grow any bigger in our geek community, but he's really stuck to his guns. He's stuck up for us. CW, Witcher coming. I agree. Henry's Cavill he's a geek. He's one of us, man. And
He's one of us.
I love his story where he almost missed out on his Superman audition because he's playing World of Warcraft. That is like my favorite nerd story of all time.
I actually didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. I guess he was playing. I guess he was in a raid or something when his agent was trying to get a hold of him, and it was. I'll have to go look it up for the exact story, but yeah, I mean, he paints miniatures, he builds computers, he plays online role playing games. I want to say that I think he could get on one of our shows if we just reached out and asked him. I think he's that much of a nerd in a lot of different ways. So it wouldn't shock me if someday if Gary talked him coming in on the FNT or something or something like that. It would not shock me at all.
Out of all the
yeah.
celebrities at his level, I would say he definitely would be the most
Yeah.
likely.
Yeah.
I hear Ryan Reynolds is a good guy too.
Yeah.
He's that kind of character.
And he wouldn't pull a Zack Snyder by bad mouthing geeks and gamers as soon as he got on the live stream.
That,
I just want you guys to know I have no affiliation with that racist, sexist organization.
And one more here.
that's so bad.
Commandant VHS for $2. Thank you. Thanks for the stream, guys. Thank you for being in the chat and watching.
Yes.
And
that's a great avatar, by the way.
that is very much so.
All right, guys. So speaking of Henry Cavill, we've got another thing to deal with here, which is basically
That stash.
Yeah, Frosk had some shots fired at everyone's favorite superhero this week in a desperate effort to stay relevant. Basically, Frosk is still on Twitter, and she's still being a terrible human being. And basically, for some reason, she's focused in on Henry Cavill as like her target, especially after he announced that he was leaving The Witcher. And here was her tweet. She said, Henry Cavill said some very questionable things around Me Too and dated a 19-year-old as a 30 plus. Seeing people throw themselves at his feet for The Witcher is weird. The show is whatever at best. And she got ratioed hard because of this tweet. And in fact, I even responded to her. I was like, relationships when you date people your own age can go sideways really quick. As long as it's legal and between two consenting adults, I don't see what the problem here is. But it inspired me to make this poster right here, which is basically what it comes down to. It's Frosk v Superman, Dawn of Cringe. And people have overwhelmingly, even people who supported Frosk in the past, have come down on the side of Henry Cavill, where they're basically like, dude, you're just looking for crap to complain about at this point, because like he literally did nothing wrong. There was like nothing immoral or illegal about him dating a 19-year-old. When I was in my early 30s, I dated a 20-year-old, so like it's not like far from that.
Oh my God! How dare you?
I do not associate with Matthew Kadish.
But
Well,
like 19 is old enough to drive a car. It's old enough to serve in the military. All this other stuff.
It's not old enough to drink though, so you got some questions to answer.
I personally think people should use the half plus 7 rule. You take your age, you cut it in half, and you add 7, and that's where you start your dating pool at.
I've never heard that one before.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah, it actually
Yeah,
works
that's an
really
old.
well.
That's our generation that came.
President
out.
Biden follows that rule.
The heart wants what
He
the heart
follows
wants what the heart wants.
The what? The 1/8 rule? Like
He's like, are you
What
like,
age is 5?
the 1/8 plus or minus.
He made a mistake. He just got it with +7 in general. My bad.
he's like, are you my granddaughter? We're good. Okay,
Oh.
so
It was so creepy.
yeah.
Very creepy. Very creepy.
So basically, like 18 is the legal age for being an adult in this country. So like I don't know why Frosk is like zeroing in on this or trying to make this a thing, but the Brad Pitt of lesbians seems to be planting her flag on this hill and not backing down about it. So I want to hear what you guys think. Brian from the Popcast, what do you think? Is this just Frosk trying to stay relevant, or is this just her being stupid again?
Yeah, I replied to her when she tweeted, and I was like, "Can you please just go away? Like, just go away." Yeah, I think that she's secretly really into Henry Cavill, and she realized that she is already outside of his age pool. So pissed her off. I get it. He's a good-looking guy, but my dad is married to someone 15 years his younger, and President of the United States married to someone 15 years younger. It's not a huge stretch that someone's at 32 would be dating a 19-year-old. I don't know, especially if they're a millionaire. I mean,
especially if they look like Henry Cavill.
And they look like Henry Cavill. Yeah, he can have whatever he wants. He can have me if he wants it. Okay, whatever you need, Henry.
When he was building that computer, the nerd girls were just going gaga.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right, Matt Vader 74. What do you think of this Frost bring her foot in her mouth yet again?
I think she's just trying to stay relevant in some sort of little way that she can. She's on her way out, man. People are done with her. So, she's just that echo is driving me crazy. She's just trying to stay relevant. I think it's all she's really doing at this point. She's trying to like push buttons and and we're all taking the bait, I guess. So I guess the best way to get rid of her is just when she says stupid things is just maybe ignore her. But I don't know if I'm capable of doing that. I really don't. So I guess we'll see. It's just a cry for relevancy. That's how I take it.
Sean, what's your take on this? I know that you're not on Twitter, so you don't follow a lot of this drama, but Frosk basically single-handedly tanked G4 TV with her sexism and gaming rant, where she basically accused their entire audience of being male chauvinist pigs and telling them not to watch because they're awful misogynist human beings. And now she's targeting Henry Cavill to be a Me Too target. So what do you think of this? Do you think Frost should just go away?
Well, yeah, it's absolutely a relevancy issue. But the other thing, didn't she say like, if you don't like it, don't watch it? I mean, couldn't that be directed back in the same direction? I mean, these people are so unaware. And I think it's a big mistake for these companies to keep hiring these types of people. I mean, because they don't care if they destroy your company and you lose all this stock and everything. They just want to get their message out, regardless of how silly it is. And a very, very popular show, I guess it ended in 2012 and then came back with the new dynamic, with the new, the G4 show was about 10 years. And it was very popular. And then, this, and yeah, she's just trying to stay relevant. She's just trying to, keep her name out there until she can catch on to something else. And hey, if she can get another show, another vehicle where she can get her message out there, great. But there's not I mean, there's no reason why we have to watch it. And, maybe her fans will watch it. But yeah, I think she's approaching the wrong audience.
All right. Well, speaking of stuff that we don't have to watch, let's talk about Star Wars.
Wait, you didn't ask my opinion about the situation.
Oh, did I forget you, Odin?
About Frosk? Yeah.
My bad. Okay. Let's hear your opinion about Frosk.
She's disgusting. Move on.
She is.
Hey, she's not here to be easy on the eyes for you. Okay.
No, I mean inside
Not
and
here
out.
for your male gaze, bro.
Yeah.
No,
Well, just because you can't fap to her doesn't mean she's irrelevant.
Listen, is
that
that a
intro
challenge?
every time.
If that's a challenge, I will take that challenge.
That intro on FNT gets me every single time. It's just like, because when Chrissy was doing it, and then I honestly had no idea what was going on. So like the sheer surprise was completely natural. But yeah, it just seems to me like her cry for relevancy, and also, she clearly wants him. I mean, that's what they always say, right? If you're attacking me, it means you want me. So by using their logic, this means she really wants Henry Cavill. And he's a beautiful man, so hey.
And she doesn't even like men. So
I know.
That's the appeal of Henry Cavill. He can turn lesbians into thirsty thoughts, I guess.
She doesn't like men, or does she just say she doesn't like men?
No, apparently she's the Brad Pitt of lesbians. That's been her moniker for quite some time.
I'm not sure what you mean by the Brad Pitt.
Wait, she's lesbian?
She doesn't shower. Is that what it is? She doesn't
Sean,
wash.
It's okay, Sean. You're old. You don't have to understand it.
Brad Pitt's an actor, Sean.
I know.
He was in some movies.
He doesn't shower, and he's got a reputation for stinking on set. So I was like, "What? Does she not shower? Is that what it means?" I mean, what's going on?
I think maybe she's saying she's a good-looking lesbian, but
she's not.
Damn,
I was saying, is it a self-given name?
I would say she's the Justin Bieber of lesbian. I mean, she's got more of that than anything.
But Justin Bieber is better looking.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe the Machine Gun Kelly of lesbians. Maybe
that is way more accurate.
Is that more accurate?
Yeah, but Machine Gun Kelly has Megan Fox. So how does that track?
Right.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Maybe the cokehead on the street version of Machine Gun Kelly.
She looks like a meth head that some rich guy found and gave her the pretty woman treatment. Hey, let's get you.
I want to know who the chat would replace Brad Pitt with in that sentence. So.
All right. Well, speaking of stinking on set, let's move on to Star Wars, which is basically I came across this video yesterday from Star Wars Theory, where he basically goes through a article that details how Disney actually admits that they messed up with the sequel trilogy, that they've done actual harm to the Star Wars brand, and he goes through the video, and I was basically surprised because when you lose someone like Star Wars Theory, who's pretty shilly, you know.
Also, you paused on that face, did you?
That's a
Yes,
great
I know, right?
face to
That's a
pause on,
terrible face.
right? Yeah, that is.
When you lose someone like Star Wars Theory, who's basically a Star Wars apologist for the most part, you know you done messed up. And I actually found it interesting seeing him go through this article where he basically it reveals that Disney basically rushed to meet aggressive release dates. They didn't have like any type of like cohesive producer like looking over like the trilogy as a whole. Michelle Rejwan has been demoted over like her inability to get stuff going. So it was a very interesting video. I'd recommend anyone who's interested in the behind the scenes drama of Star Wars go check it out. It
So
sounds
is it Civil
like
War, like we've been told? Is it Civil War? Is Kathleen
It's
Kennedy
not-
gone?
It's not Civil War. Basically, the article says that that there's a culture of fear and paralysis that permeates Lucasfilm because like they know that they messed up and they don't want to keep messing up, and so they're just so indecisive about what to do. There's no clear, strong leadership about, okay, here's my vision, here's where we're going to go. It's like, well, what do we do now? I don't know. They're running around like chickens with their heads cut off. Basically choosing fan service and franchise management over creative swings. That's the long and short of the article. There is like they don't know how to appease fans, so they just go for the easiest possible solution. Star Wars Theory actually goes off on a rant about The Last Jedi dividing the fan base and causing a lot of the problems. And he was like, that movie should have never been made the way it was, because it's basically destroyed any kind of like actual love from the fan base for Star Wars. So I just found this video very interesting. It's linked in the description if anyone wants to watch it. But this article, if it's correct, if the sources for the article are correct, this is the first time that word has actually come out that Lucasfilm is aware of how badly they messed up. They know they're messing up. They're continuing to mess up. And under Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, everyone just doesn't know what it is they're doing. So I wanted to bring this topic up because I know we're all Star Wars fans here. We'll start with Sean. Sean, what did you think of this video, and what do you make of this whole notion that Lucasfilm is paralyzed by fear and indecision?
I do hope it's true. I hope that they've had time to reflect, but the secret is just tell a story. Stop trying to please everybody. Tell the story, and the fans will, if you keep true to the source material, they'll come. They'll watch. This scrapbooking and everything that they're doing, going by what's popular at the point, it's not working. And they're losing a lot of money for it. So I hope it is true. I hope they're reflecting on it and realizing we've got to reboot. The biggest problem that fans are going to have now is, with Carrie Fisher not being available anymore, it's kind of hard to get everybody together. We're not going to get that movie that we needed.
We're never going to get that. The old crew's done. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
People need to get that out of their head. That
Yeah.
we're never getting a reunion of. We're not even going to get Mark Hamill or any of these guys.
Yeah, they're not going to come back because
we have
they've
to move
already
on.
been
We have
pissed.
to make a break from our heroes from the original trilogy. They need to completely start over.
Yeah,
with a new set of characters. So I don't know.
So Matt, since you're already talking, what's your take on this? Do you think that this article is accurate in the fact that the leadership at Disney pushed for rapid, unsustainable Star Wars films, and under Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, they were just unable to keep up with that?
I think they absolutely did that. I think they got this chest of wonders put in front of their face, and and they just saw dollar bills, and they said, we need to make content. So Kathy, go make content, and that's what she did, and she made bad content, and now they're paying the price for it. They immediately started paying the price for it because we all knew this stuff was garbage. We didn't start getting good content from Disney until people who actually loved and understood Star Wars started making that content with some of these Star Wars shows like The Mandalorian, and even some of these shows aren't great. like the Boba Fett thing was a terrible show. This Andor thing, it has potential, but it's not great. I know you like it, but I think the biggest issue is on the movie side of things, right? They're a mess. They're an absolute mess over there. And for them to not realize that they have a problem is a problem in and of itself. So for them to finally admit that maybe that there's something wrong here, maybe that's a good sign for the rest of us. And maybe in the future, we might get something that's watchable instead of this crap that we've been subjected to so far. So I'm hopeful.
Publicly, they haven't admitted any wrongdoing.
Yeah.
But I want to hear your take on this, Brian. So basically, one of the things that really upset Star Wars Theory, and he actually referenced Bob Iger's autobiography on this, was basically that they rushed into production Episode 7. They didn't have a plan for the trilogy. They kind of made it up as they went along. They had different writers working on the movies. They weren't communicating with each other. And it came out that George Lucas had completed outlines and scripts for a, sequel trilogy that were just thrown in the trash, essentially. And they weren't even referenced. They weren't even used. And so that was the thing that really got Star Wars Theory hot under the collar. And he goes on a little bit of a rant about that in this video. What is your take on this? Do you think that Disney should have used George Lucas's treatments, or do you think that they should have at least slowed down and allowed them time to actually develop a trilogy worthy of being a sequel to the original Star Wars films?
Yeah, well, there's two options there. Before I get into those two options, be sure that we don't say Kathleen Kennedy too many times, or Doomcock will show up.
Yeah.
Oh, he's already here.
No, I knew it.
He's here in spirit.
So here's the deal. So they did two things wrong. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't want to use George Lucas's original treatments. I don't like, hey, the reason you bought the franchise is because of what George Lucas did with it. Granted, I didn't like the prequels. The rest of them were great. He knew what he was doing. He loved the universe. He loved the characters. All right, maybe you should use the treatments. If you don't like the treatments, maybe they were boomer treatments and it wasn't going to work. Well, then at least slow down. I'm not a Rian Johnson guy, but dude, they were having Rian Johnson write 8 while 7 was still in production.
Mm-hmm.
What did you expect to happen? He didn't even know the end of that movie, and he was expected to write that atrocity that he did write. I mean, he did a horrible job, but he didn't really even know the end of 7 when he was starting 8. That's not reasonable. So they moved too quick. They were trying to make their investment back, and it blew up in their face. So at the very least, they should have slowed down and allowed the creatives time to create this brand new trilogy. My opinion.
Odin, what's your take on this?
So it was in Bob Iger's book that it was mentioned of this. Yeah. So yeah, it is interesting that we're finally starting to hear some of the this talk. And to me, these rumors and the sources, right, and what they're saying, it sounds the most credible out of all the ones that we've gotten so far. So it would not surprise me one bit if this was actually what was going on, because we've seen it, right? We've actually seen it firsthand with the fact, you get through, 75-80% of Solo, and then you fire the directors, and then you get a brand new director and rewrite a lot of the script and so I look to things like that and I think, okay, well, we already knew these things based on just not on sources, but based on our eyes and ears and the fact that we have brains. So it's like, if this is finally the moment where maybe some of the people internally are starting to say, maybe we need to fix some of these issues. We need to fix some of these problems. Maybe that would be, maybe that's a good sign. But it's similar to kind of the notion that I've had for a while now, which is it's too little too late. And until there is any change really at the top, until Kathleen Kennedy is actually gone, and not just rumored to be gone, for years now at this point, until that happens, actually, I don't know if anything's going to change. And even if she does, if she just gets replaced by one of her underlings, then the problems are still going to continue. So yeah, they just need to have an entire revamping of everything from top all the way down.
Yeah, and I think it's funny that, if you start losing people like Star Wars Theory, who's been such a defender of everything Star Wars, that the tide's turning. People are starting to get tired of how they're mismanaging this stuff. And honestly, like, Star Wars should be a slam dunk, right? Like, you should be able to make like a movie every 2-3 years,
Mhm.
get it out there. You should be able to do like TV shows that are like prestige TV, like the highest quality special effects, all this stuff. And it just feels like they've been kind of like throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks.
Well, it's
for
like
all this time.
they keep telling us that they're giving a Star Wars movie to every random director that's out there. It's like, this guy's going to make a movie. This guy's going to make a movie. This person's going to make a movie, and they never end up making these movies. Then you get assholes like, what's his face? The Last Jedi guy, who I think I've blocked from my brain.
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
And he has to stir the pot every once in a while and put a tweet out there. I'm still working on my thing, still working on my script. And so then we're all like, no, you're not. We don't want to watch your stupid movie, Broom Boy. And it's just it's never going to end. It's never going to end. We used to say that there's no such thing as Star Wars fatigue. I think there is now. I think there's we have fatigue of you talking about Star Wars. Give us some Star Wars that we can get fatigued by, and until you do that, just shut up. I don't even want to hear about a Star Wars movie until it's ready to start the marketing campaign for this movie.
Mhm.
I think that would be the best approach for them to do. Just like, quit talking about it, go do it.
And people really
You know what I'm
haven't been
saying?
talking even about
Yeah.
the shows, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because I know we have some fans of Andor here, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I think that we could all at least admit that as far as the actual like buzz around it, there really isn't a whole
there's
lot.
none. I forgot it was on until I
Yeah.
woke up that day and I looked at my tweet. and Kadish is all like, "Oh man, guys, I really like this show. It's so good. It's the best show ever I've ever seen."
I think
And
I've
I'm
missed
like-
3 episodes now.
and I was like, "Oh, I forgot. I guess I'll go watch it now." Thanks, Matt, you Star Wars shill. But
Bro, Shane was the same way. He's like, bro, don't forget, we got to review Andor today.
Oh yeah, you gotta
I
watch
watched it and it was amazing. And I'm like,
Hey, they're gonna
oh
break
yeah,
out
that
of
was
a
on.
they're gonna
I-
break out of a prison. I can't wait. It's gonna be so good.
Don't forget, we're gonna review it today at 2:00. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna make it.
It's like they're gonna break out of a prison, and then we're gonna go into the buddy cop angle arc, the last 3 episodes of the show. So it's gonna be really cool. Yeah,
I'm like 4 episodes behind.
I know. Nobody gives a shit about Andor. It's ridiculous. So,
It
yeah.
could be like it is, and people like it. Hey, it could be outstanding. It's just
It's not terrible. It's just
it's not terrible. It's just
it's
like whatever.
nobody cares. So we're over it. It's like nobody cares.
That's a shame.
Give me some
Yeah.
lightsabers and some force users. Give me that Inquisitor with that flies around on his stupid heliblade. Something. Anything.
At this
you know?
point, I'll take something I can make fun of over just
Yeah.
bland.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
give
speaking
me-
of making fun, we heard that Damon Lindelof of Lost and The Leftovers fame and the Watchmen reboot on HBO is now in the forefront of getting his Star Wars movie made, because like he's got a writing room, he's got a script breaking out, and it looks like he might be the first to actually get a Star Wars movie into theaters
I don't believe
in,
it.
in 2025. And this is literally the worst person they could have chosen to do this, because he's super SJW. He's worse than Ryan Johnson. He's never made a good movie. I'd argue he's never made a good TV show either. And yet Kathleen Kennedy still keeps hiring from the Bad Robot school of screenwriting, and it's not looking good for Star Wars, in my opinion.
It's not.
No, because
So I started a Star Wars channel to cover Star Wars Andor and Mandalorian and whatever.
Canceled
And
it.
it has like 16 subscribers. We were putting up content daily, bro,
Mhm.
and just no one cares. And we were promoting it to a channel with 100,000 subscribers, and no one clicked.
Nobody
No one
cares.
cares, dude.
yeah.
No one.
Wow.
If you made a channel talking about nothing but the original trilogy, it would probably get 50,000 subs in about a year.
Oh yeah.
maybe.
On
And on
the
the flip note of that, our DC channel blew up like
Yeah,
instantly.
yeah.
So real quick, we got a super chat from Fluffy Panda for $5. Thank you,
Thank
Fluffy
you.
Panda. They did the most unforgivable thing. They had Mark, Ford, and Carrie and wasted it. We'll never get to see them on screen again, all because of what? Yes, that was a tragic thing that they did where they had the entire original cast and they could have put them on screen together and they chose not to.
Yep.
And so we're never gonna-
Unforgivable, honestly.
Though I will say, never say never, because technically, if you go the route of the Ghostbusters way, you could theoretically bring somebody back.
Yeah.
no one's ever really gone. Is that how it goes?
Thank
Well,
you,
yeah.
Gavin Blackburn, for that 99-cent super sticker. Appreciate you, man.
Yes,
Appreciate you.
Gavin. Thank you so much for that. So, speaking of Star Wars, there was an interesting kind of story today where basically a bunch of vintage Kenner toys in mint condition were found in a warehouse somewhere.
Wild.
And
Wow.
and basically these things are going to go up for auction eventually. And look at this picture of like all like the mint
Gosh,
condition original Star Wars toys from the 80s.
it just sounds like it has to be fake because of like just how pristine everything
Yeah.
is. It's like what this like time capsule was somehow created of all these. Like, where do
Well-
they come from? What's their story?
But you know how this happens? It's because there's people out there like me who buys toys and leaves them in the containers
In
and
the
the
containers.
package, right? And then they go and they put them in a storage unit and then they die,
right.
right? And
Yeah,
then some fool comes
probably a heart
along.
failure.
Yeah,
Because
probably
we eat
because
too
I'm
much red meat.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you know their great grandkid or something comes along or some fool buys the storage unit for $5 and goes in there and finds treasure and you're like, holy crap, man. But yeah, I'm wondering, this made me wonder how many more troves of stuff like this are out there, because they're out there, because they're these treasure boxes of just awesome toys somewhere in
I
these
just keep
storage
thinking-
units. Mhm.
I just keep thinking of if it is true, there's going to be an awful lot of pissed off wives.
Well,
because some guy's going to spend like the kid's college money or something
You know,
buying
what-
this
what's
stuff.
weird is I was reading some of the comments in the YouTube group that we saw this from, and this guy the guy who has these, he's selling them off in lots just to dump them, when what he should be doing is getting them graded and selling these things off one at a time.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I
he
mean?
should be doing.
So I don't understand that approach at all. It's
I
like
gotta tell
somebody who doesn't appreciate know what he's got there. He's got these things, and it's just, I just want to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Well, it's like someone who
okay.
wins the lottery, where it's like they have no idea, no knowledge of financing, so they're just like, oh, I'm just going to spend it on all this stuff, and then it's gone. And
It's like, dude, you have a house there, a nice house.
oh yeah,
You
Dude,
probably more. You can probably
Millions of dollars.
I don't know.
I have tote bins in my garage of like
Yeah.
Star Trek collectibles and stuff that are still in the package that I've gotten over the years, and there was no space in my house. So when I moved the
Mhm.
first time, I just left them in there, and I'm like, one day I'm gonna die, and my kids who have never seen a single episode of Star Trek are gonna be like, "Huh, what is this Enterprise D original model? That's old. Throw it away."
Yeah, I was looking at this website, galacticcollector.com. They have like a visual price guide. And it's like the Boba Fett ones there, right? Graded and on card. They go for about $8,500 a piece.
Oh my god.
So I mean, that's wild, right? So that's just an example. And I think Boba Fett, that one is the most expensive. I guess because the Vaders they kept producing, but I think like the Boba Fett with a little shooting rocket and stuff. I wish we had a toy pro to come on the show and explain the value of these to us, because I honestly don't collect toys. I stopped collecting a long time ago. I know I got these stupid Funko things behind me, but that they're not the same. They're
I
not the
could
same as those toys.
I could honestly see Gary from Nerdrotic doing a fundraiser stream so
Oh,
he could
God.
afford to buy a few of those to put
Hell
on his
yes.
background wall.
Hell yes. So yeah.
And
Look, it's
Cara Dune agrees with you. She's
Yeah.
shaking her head.
I just, I these are the kind of stories that pop up, and it just makes you get tired of talking about negative SJW, stupid nonsense nerd stuff, because there's so much bullshit in the nerd world right now with all the stuff. And this is the story that just kind of popped into my Twitter feed, and it made me smile. This is every nerd in the world, regardless of their politics, should be losing their mind over this find. If you've ever collected Star Wars, even if you don't collect, I don't collect these things anymore. I have no interest in buying these things, but it still made me happy. It made me smile. And I'm like, yeah, they're still out there. That is awesome. And it was just a cool thing. It makes me very enthusiastic about, it makes me want to go buy toys again, knowing that these things are available. And I don't have the money to do it, but it's just a cool and interesting story. And I think it's exciting for the action figure Star Wars community. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
If I had the money, I kind of do. I could buy collectibles, but my office would be filled with classic, like vintage Star Trek stuff, or just movie stuff in general. But yeah, this is kind of a neat idea. I just remember all my friends having all of these Kenner toys from Star Wars when I was growing up. And I didn't have them, but my friends did, and they would always, be showing, oh, look at this, the Darth Vader with the lightsaber halfway up the arm, doing this and everything. And it's a happy story for once. I agree, Vader. It's a good feel good type of story for once. And it would be interesting to find out where they came from. Oh, Dad died, let's sell off all of his stuff. What do you have?
I think it's out there. I think that information's out there, but I didn't really dig into it a whole lot. It was a cool story, and this guy's got a treasure, man. And I would be keeping one of all of those, and probably shipping out the rest one at a time on Sotheby's or whatever auction site that would take them. So
speaking of feel good stories and pissing off Matt Vader, Emma Darcy, who played Princess Rhaenyra in the Game of Thrones prequel House of the Dragon, has just been announced that GQ has named her or them Man of the Year.
What? Wait.
What? For those of you who don't know, Emma Darcy is a gender non-binary actor who tends to play women because she was born a woman. But now that she's non-binary, GQ magazine has put her on the Men of the Year list. And Matt Vader wanted to actually talk about this morning. So Matt,
I just brought it to your attention. It's 2022. Why can't we nominate a lady for Man of the Year?
Because she's a woman.
What the hell happened to GQ? Didn't it used to be a cool magazine?
You know what's funny? When we were watching the show, I remember when that actor came on, I was like, I don't like this actor for this role. They don't match. Like the younger version of Rhaenyra and the new version of Rhaenyra, they don't match. And now I realize why. Because one was real masculine and one wasn't. Oh God!
Listen, I don't have any issues with her. I don't care what she wants to identify with as. I don't feel like I don't feel like in the marketing and everything of the House of the Dragon that it was ever an issue. You know what I'm saying? It didn't become the marketing of the show, but now stuff like this, GQ magazine nominating her for Man of the Year. It's cringe. It's so cringy.
It should be important to point out, and I want to throw this to Odin, is that Emma Darcy, she's not trans. She doesn't have she still has her breasts. She still has nothing between her legs. She's just non-binary, and so I guess that qualifies her to be one of the Men of the Year on the GQ magazine. What are your thoughts on this?
The image that comes to my head is from one of the best films of all time, Clue. That moment where flames on the side of my face. It's just because I'm very similar, with what Matt Vader said, right, about saying, hey, you do you, right?
Yeah,
but
do you?
But when my issue is when you expect others to, basically affirm your nonsensical quote unquote identity, and then you have these giant companies, corporations that are buying into it as well. And also, like, I think you even brought up a good point. So if she is supposedly non-binary, then why would they nominate her knowing that this would theoretically have to be, she would have, I mean, I want to know her reaction, because if she's not insulted by it, then I don't see how she's non-binary. Because if she's non-binary, then, you know, her being, you know, basically associated with one of the binaries would seem to cause a problem. But yeah, ultimately it's crazy that we've come to this point where, you know, being more masculine or being more feminine, whether you're a man or a woman in either direction, has now become a gender. Like that's what drives me nuts about it all, right? Because it's like, no one's saying that you can't be more masculine if you're a female or more feminine if you're a male. It's you're creating a brand new thing out of thin air, to the point where these things just don't even have meaning anymore, right? Language is so important because it's the only way we can communicate. But when language ceases to have meaning, and so specifically when man and woman cease to have meaning, then we start to see the crumbling of society in general. So it's just so infuriating to see this crap continuing to be pushed, because it's now, you know, luckily being in a private school, it's a little bit more shielded, but it is, because of TikTok especially, becoming much more of something that you hear about every year, that I have to be like, okay, let's just break this down logically. And you know, it's great to have the ancient Greeks actually to use, because there was a group of people that had the same exact philosophy. They were the sophist, and guess what happened? You know, guess what happened to Athens around this time frame? It collapsed because it had reached moral decay, because people said morality, it's just what you feel. Your feelings are what matter. Your feelings define truth. And so now we're seeing it happen again. It's like, all right, this
You're
means
saying
the
that
fall's
Empire didn't survive that? Interesting.
So Brian, actually, what's kind of interesting about this story to me is I don't think Emma Darcy tried to campaign for this. I think GQ did this as a publicity stunt to try to remain relevant, because I don't think anyone cares about GQ anymore.
Yeah.
And you know, we've seen this with like Sports Illustrated, where they put like a trans swimsuit model on their swimsuit edition and all this other stuff. So as the queer representation on the panel, what's your take on this story?
Well, this is gonna keep going. I know it is.
You started it, man.
It's my fault. I completely. I will take responsibility for this.
Brian, all you have to do is tell us you identify as something else today.
I identify as an Apache helicopter.
Okay. Then
yeah, listen, hey, Caitlyn Jenner got Woman of the Year. And in 2015, before there was a YouTube channel, I remember thinking, damn, that is super offensive to women everywhere. That, like, out of all the women that you could have chosen, you gave it to a dude. That's offensive. Yeah, you're right. I don't think the actual actress is campaigning for this. I don't think that she's or he or they are giving. Damn it! God damn it!
I know, right?
I don't think that they're trying to do anything crazy. I think you're right. I think that the magazine is just trying to stay relevant, and you know, the easiest way to stay relevant is to, you know, anger some people and help others. So, you know, this is the way you do it. I think it's dumb, and I think Odin's right. That's the way that empires fail historically.
Yep.
But you know, it is what it is. Again, Caitlyn Jenner got Woman of the Year. So this isn't new. Like, it's not new, and plenty of women didn't care then. So
it's okay, because Caitlyn Jenner is Fox News' trans person, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's. I bet you there must be people on the left that like just their head explodes.
Caitlyn is a staunch conservative.
Yeah, she's a Republican.
MAGA
There's got to be Democrats where their heads are just exploding. They're like, I don't know what to do.
I'm convinced now that Bruce is trolling the world. I really am. I think he's just.
He became a woman just to mess with everybody.
Just to piss. That's how I justify it in my head.
I don't know. Someone was like, "Would you vote for Caitlyn Jenner for governor or whatever?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?
Okay,
who cares?
It's California. It's already messed up.
It literally can't be worse. All right. If you told me a mentally challenged orangutan was running for governor, I'd be like, all right.
Listen, man.
Do it.
The best thing I saw on the news this weekend, I rarely watch the TV this anymore, but they had the Paul Pelosi, thing going on Fox News. And she goes, so now we're gonna go to our Fox News person so they can talk some stuff, and up popped Caitlyn Jenner. And I'm like, what in the hell does Caitlyn Jenner have to do with Paul Pelosi having a hammer time party with his buddy? It was just
with his underwear buddy. Yeah,
I don't get it.
On the Pelosi news, I was reading. I was watching CNN actually, and they were talking about how it went down. They read the transcripts or whatever, and the police officer was like, "Yeah, so when they opened the door, we came in and saw Mr. Pelosi fighting with this naked man or whatever, right?" I'm like, wait a minute, who opened the door?
Yeah.
But they are sticking to the story that there was only two people there, but they literally said they opened the door, and then when they came in, Pelosi and company were grappling with a hammer in their underwear.
What's funny is NBC actually did a story where they went through what actually happened there, and because it contradicted the Pelosi narrative that they've been putting out since it started, NBC actually took the story down, and it was Paul Pelosi who actually opened the door, let the cops in, walk back to the guy,
and then got
there. Yeah.
So he opens the door and then goes back to the guy and starts grappling.
Yeah. It was a wellness check. It wasn't an emergency response or anything. It was very weird. Real quick before we get to Sean's take on this, we got a few super chats. R to the Icky for $4.99. Howdy, Kadish, Vader, Brian, OMB, and Crabapple. Howdy, R2. Good to see you.
Hey,
R2.
And then we got a $5 from Justin Proper. People have actually identified as cats, trees, fairies, etc. I know a trans person who now goes by hero, more like pretentious. Yes. I identify as a god, and I assume that you all should worship me and feed into my delusion.
Someone tell Elon Musk I identify as a blue check mark, so please.
Yeah, it's against the law to not give you one. Justin Proper for another $5. Thank you, Justin. Really appreciate it. I go by Your Highness pronouns. Anything else will be considered a form of harassment. Also, Odin is the goat, right next to Tommy Wiseau.
Thank you, Justin. But there's no way I could ever be on the same level as Tommy Wiseau. There's just no way.
And finally, we got a $2 super chat from JT. I nominate Vader for Woman of the Year.
I will gladly accept that nomination.
What's funny is
it's going to cost you way more than $2, buddy.
Only if you wear the thong.
Well, what's funny is Vader has bigger boobs than Emma Darcy. So
I got a question. Has anyone ever transitioned or identify as a woman, but never actually changed a single thing? Like, what if Vader was like, "Well, I'm now a woman," but he doesn't change anything? He's still.
I'm sure it's happened.
That's what trans are. Like, remember that swimmer who competed in the girls swimming? Like he had his twigs and berries and everything. He just had long hair and he said, "I'm a woman."
And he wore like a woman's.
I think he did take some
hormones.
Estrogen and stuff, and but
imagine the confusion that everywhere you go, you're like, "Hello, sir." No, it's ma'am.
It's ma'am.
You have a full beard. Imagine getting mad at someone when you look at this big bulky Viking man. And you're like, "I'm sorry, no, I'm a."
The best version of this was still done in South Park, where it was where they had the Randy Savage.
Oh, Randy Savage.
Oh yeah.
Listen, brother.
Strong woman. Right.
Well, I want to get to Sean's take on Emma Darcy being nominated for Man of the Year with GQ magazine. What's your take on this insanity, Sean?
I'm too old. I got
too
nothing.
old.
I mean, look, I identify as a billionaire. Here, let's oh shit. Okay, it didn't work. I mean, you're
not taking the right hormones.
I mean, I don't know what to say. I just, I think it is a relevancy issue on GQ's part. And probably, Emma had nothing to do with this. It probably got up one morning on her Twitter, and like looks and goes, "Wait, what?" Call the agent. What's going on?
Can you imagine? She just has no idea, and she sees this this came out today, and she's like, "What in the bloody hell is going on?"
Yeah. And so I can see that. I just I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's like, okay, whatever. I mean, I don't read GQ. It doesn't bother me any. I'm like, it's certainly not when Sean Connery was voted sexiest man of the year in 92, and he was in his 60s.
Yeah.
It doesn't, that had a genuine impact. One, people were still reading it, but two, the thing was, I mean, you can't deny it,
Yeah.
So I as far as, hey, whatever, I'm okay with it.
I'm in the mood for some tacos, so I'm going to go identify as Hispanic later, I think. Is that okay, Brian?
I do that every Tuesday, and that is okay. As the rep of the Latinx community, you're allowed to do that at least once a week.
Yes.
Tuesday specifically.
As the queer rep for
yes, queer Latinx rep. Wow. Every Tuesday you can identify as Hispanic and eat as many tacos as you like.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, according to the First Lady, all you need to be Hispanic is to like tacos.
Yeah. What's that all about?
Breakfast tacos.
She's an old man. I feel sorry for the First Lady. I feel like she's like, I don't know what we got into here.
Hey,
I feel sorry for that granddaughter.
Oh,
I know.
Dennis Wright for $4.99. Can I identify as a salty nerd, or is that cultural appropriation? So many rules. That's just racist, Dennis Wright. I don't know how else to respond to that.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. You can identify as a salty nerd if he wants to.
But also that helps just to expose just how nonsensical all this has become, right? Because like that's the line right now is that you can identify as another race. It's like there's no difference between what you were saying is allowable now versus that. Like when all is said and done. I mean, because it's just my brain.
Tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to identify as a Romanian gymnastics star.
So I mean, because I can go back and I can, I have family that came from the Canary Islands, so I technically have some Islanos in me, but I'm not gonna go around saying, "Oh yeah, I'm African," because I have family that way back when came off the coast of Africa that was colonized by Spain. It's like no, like that's just as ridiculous. And so if they even that concept itself is ridiculous, how much more is it ridiculous to say, "Oh yeah, I'm this," even though I'm not.
All right. So speaking of crazy SJW stuff, let's talk about the new Willow TV series. So basically, Nerdrotic put out a really interesting clip yesterday on his daily channel where he had Chris Gore as one of his guests on, I guess it was the Nerdrotic Nooner or what have you. And Chris Gore from Film Threat actually got early access to the first 3 episodes of Lucasfilm's new Willow TV series. And he basically confirmed every person's fear about what this show is about. Willow has been relegated to a side character. It focuses on 2 lesbians, and basically it's virtue signaling out the wazoo. He basically said that you could review this using all the rumors without having watched it and be pretty accurate as to what your review would be. And this is, we talked a little bit earlier on about how Lucasfilm is kind of ruled by fear and indecision, and they don't really know what to do, and yet they still keep erring on the side of identity politics and SJW stuff.
Can you just scroll to the end of the video and post the picture of the cast where they're just showing the whole cast there? Because man, this thing, they announced it, of course, they're gonna do a Willow remake, they're gonna continue the story, and
it's got it's got Infus Nest,
Freckles Jesus. Yeah.
Why does it say sex in the background? Why does it say?
I don't know.
Maybe it's SFX.
That's special effects. SFX.
Oh, okay. All right.
but,
It
I
looks
mean-
like
It's
sex.
like sex. Willow.
Let's be real here.
It probably will have something to do.
But
Bow,
apparently
bow,
apparently
bow.
this is Val Kilmer, Matt Mardigan's son, right
Oh,
here.
Lord. Oh Lord.
And I guess these are the two lesbians.
Why do they?
Is the actress that
and
plays
we
Empress
got-
Ness
we
a
got some
lesbian?
We got some people of color. I don't think she is in reality, but I think the characters are.
Oh, it's gonna get
and-
canceled
and-
then.
No, that's gonna
and-
get canceled.
Can't
and
can't
this is
have
the-
a fake lesbian.
This is the girl who was a baby in the original movie.
Mhm.
She's too young. She's way too young.
This is
Well,
so
That
unfortunate.
was like 35 years ago.
But also,
Yeah,
like,
it might not be taking place 35 years in the future.
I know, but I mean,
you shouldn't be doing this sequel anyway. But it's like, if you were gonna do a sequel, the fact that she's that far back too, it's like, why is the story not about her and him? Because that's the only logical step that you take if you're gonna do a sequel. I mean,
Right.
please don't.
Right.
But if you're going to, that already too, just story wise, you're like, oh, okay, so this is not going to be anything
Here's-
I have interest in.
This is so unfortunate, dude.
yeah,
I've been looking forward to Willow
yeah.
for like a year and a half.
Here's the thing with me. There's a lot of people out there that comment on these kind of things that, one person, some people, everything's woke, and the other person's gonna be everything not. Chris Gore tells you straight up how he feels about things. If something is good, he'll tell you. If something's bad, Chris Gore will tell you. He's honest. He's an honest critic. He's an honest commenter.
You're right.
I
I'm actually
trust-
sure that's why he left Collider.
I trust Chris Gore's take when he says this thing is a woke piece of shit. Okay. And so I was actually kind of looking forward to seeing this a little bit. I have no interest now. None. I was actually considering talking to Matt and Alex. It's like, hey man, we should do this for the show.
Yeah,
every week.
same.
I'm like, nope, not gonna do it. I have no interest in this thing anymore. Thank you, Chris Gore, for saving me from 8 hours of misery, because I'm not gonna watch it. Seriously, Chris Gore is one of those guys that I trust his word on things, because he's not afraid to praise something that's good, even if it is woke. Oh my god. But yeah, so I have no interest in this anymore, and I'm gonna go straight to this super chat because this one's too good not to.
Jesus.
Boom.
Oh
Go ahead,
my
Matthew.
goodness. The Astro Nerd Boy for $100.
Wow.
Wow.
You now hold the
Dang.
record for the biggest super chat we've ever
Think
gotten
so.
on this channel. I like the Willow film. It is just a fun popcorn flick. I figured the TV series would be more woke rubbish. Also, I identify as an anime character, screaming because living teddy bear characters are using my clothes to wipe their butts.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Astro Nerd Boy.
Yeah.
you are
Wow.
you are going to get some shout outs in the future. I'll tell you
Yeah,
What
that
a
much.
visual that was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, thank you
Yeah,
for the
we-
for the for the
We
for the
are
wonderful-
inclusive and welcoming here on the Salty Nerd Podcast. If you identify as an anime character, we're happy to
Welcome.
wipe our butts.
Feel
Oh,
free
that's
to
the
come
part
in.
you attach. You attach. To. Yeah. Okay.
Astro Nerd Boy just bought Salty Nerd Podcast.
Yeah. bought us a new bought us a handle of Seagrams or something. So
Yes.
yeah, Aviator Gin. Here we go.
Well, also, we got another super chat from
Yes.
Art the Icky for $1.99. Please don't show us you doing the splits, Vader.
No, please do.
That's never something you're going to see me do, but I'm sure you're going to put my head on somebody doing the splits.
Matt Vader, I will super
You
chat
ass.
$100 if you do the splits on camera.
I can't. I don't even know if it's possible. It'd probably put me in a hospital.
Astro Boy for 200. You can get Vader to do the splits
No,
live on screen. But
I'll do it, but he has to pay my hospital bill.
Yeah.
Okay, and
So,
all the medication that comes out of it.
A
So-
pre and
Oh,
post fee.
And your wife's therapy bill after that.
Yeah.
So Odin, one of the interesting things in this video, which I thought was kind of salient, is that Gary basically came out and said, I was never a big fan of the original movie. I thought it was just okay. And so I'm not excited at all about the TV show, and this makes me even less excited. Why do you think Lucasfilm keeps doubling down on all this stupid woke identity politics stuff for these legendary franchises, which should be a no-brainer for them?
I honestly have no idea. I would love to actually get my hand on their financials, because unless they're seeing something that I'm not, then it has to purely be the decisions being made at the top from someone who is just an ideological nut. Because I don't look at any of these decisions that they're making as being somehow, financially successful. I mean, you look at just how far off the cliff a show like She-Hulk went, and that show is viewed by most people as garbage, even people who don't care one way or the other about whether something is woke or not, where that language is not even something that they're used to hearing often. So like you have a terrible show like that, and most of it was terrible because of the ideological bent of that specific show, because when you focus on that, you miss story. I will say I agree completely with Gary's take on that specifically, because I also was not a big fan of the movie either. I just never got it. I was watching it and I was like, I don't really understand the appeal. If you like it, great. So when they announced a series for it, I just didn't understand that either. I just didn't think there was enough of I knew there had to have been a fan base, but not big enough for them to to invest anything into it. So the only answer that makes any sense whatsoever is that they have the person making these decisions as far as how to spend their money is purely ideologically driven, and no one is going to be able to stop them because they're at the top. It boggles my mind.
I have a question. Let me ask this question really quick. Given that we know, according to sources, that Lucasfilm realizes that they've screwed up with some of this stuff, going back to the Star Wars news, do you think they would make this series now with the powers that be choose a different direction? Because this has been going on for 2 years, 3 years now, right? This got announced and got produced, I think, in the Lucasfilm era, where they were doubling down on all of their woke bullshit. So I'm wondering if the sources are true, if this is something that would be made today, if they would put it into production the way it is.
Yeah, based on just their marketing and the things that they've announced and the directions, like it just seems like they are. And that's why, as I wonder if the people who are saying they've made mistakes are not at the top of the food chain, and so the people at the top of the food chains are the ones who maybe either don't care that they're making mistakes or don't recognize that they're making mistakes, and that's the reason why we're still getting it. Again, does not make any logical sense to me.
Well, this is all from the top down, right? This is Kathleen Kennedy's mandate, where she wanted to inject these types of political messages into the Lucasfilm IPs, and so like you have Star Wars, you have Indiana Jones, you have Willow, and that's pretty much it in terms of like what their unique IPs. I want to hear Sean's take on this. Sean, we've heard "get woke, go broke" numerous times. Why do you think Hollywood keeps insisting on doing this type of stuff, and knowing that it's destined for failure?
It's risk aversion. It's nothing but they're so risk averse, and the problem is that the as they call the woke mob is more vocal than your average viewer. So you have this extraordinarily small minority of people who have this enormous voice due to social media, or anti-social media, as I call it. And all it takes is one for them to start, like clucking around each other and, going back and forth and tweeting this and that and everything. And then suddenly that's the only thing that the general audience hears is what the Twitter mob is saying. So they want to make sure that they throw something out there that is going to be acceptable to a very small portion of people that finds something to complain about all the time, and they're just risk averse. The Willow as a movie, it's been 35 years. It wouldn't get made today. There's so many films that we grew up on that wouldn't get made today. It wouldn't, so there would be no franchises because they're so risk averse.
I don't really feel like Willow is. I don't know why it wouldn't get made today.
Because there's no name attached to it. Like if we're starting fresh, like Jaws wouldn't get made today. I mean, because the only things that they want to do is make something with a name already attached to it.
That's true.
A property that's already there. That's why. And the thing is that they won't take chances anymore. And because of that, we're really losing out on a lot of great films that are out there in the indie market that could make a big impact, because they're just people trying to tell a story rather than big executives trying to send the message.
I get what you.
Yeah.
I think I misunderstood your initial thought. But
So Brian, this is all basically Kathleen Kennedy's regime. She's the one who rebooted all these older franchises and adapted them for Disney Plus. And what's interesting is with Willow, you have this fantasy universe that's very rich. Like you tell a lot of different stories in the Willow universe. You have Indiana Jones, like they could redo the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles and have like some type of like awesome Indiana Jones TV series without Harrison Ford. They're trying their best to diversify Star Wars in the sense that like we're seeing different types of Star Wars TV shows come out. So why do you think they keep doubling down on the social justice stuff in these shows, which by all accounts shouldn't have it in there? Like just focus on making like a good fantasy series or a good adventure series.
Yeah, it actually drives me nuts. Like they purposely inject politics into these fantasy shows that are supposed to be taking place, a long time ago. It is so out of place. Doesn't even make sense for the story. It's just so odd. I'm actually bummed out because I was looking forward to Willow. I loved Willow the movie. Loved it when I was young, and I thought it was great. And when I heard they're making a series and Willow was coming back, the original actor, whatever his name is, I keep forgetting, I was like, awesome, let's do it.
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis.
Yeah. Davis. And now we hear this, and it's just I'm seeing the writing on the wall. I'm seeing what everyone's saying. It's gonna be a bummer. They're gonna trash this like franchise that I really loved. And I don't know why the idea of just knocking it out of the park and making $1 billion off of something that everyone loves is such a hard concept for people. It's like, yes, we want our $1 billion, but we also want to completely change the fundamental foundation of what made this popular in the first place. Well, that's not how it works. You cannot change the foundation of the house and expect the house to keep standing that drastically. And I actually had this analogy on my show last week. I was like, look, these franchises, Star Wars, Star Trek, Willow, Lord of the Rings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These are like beautiful houses that people have been traveling from long distances to see all the time for years, for decades. Everyone wants to live there. Everyone wants to see. Everyone wants to be part of it. And then what happens is these companies get a hold of them, and instead of adding on to the house, adding an addition that could be bad or not be bad, whatever, they go down to the studs and they completely change the foundation of the house. And then they're confused as to why people no longer wants to live in the house. Well, what's the problem? You liked it before. Well, it's not the same thing. It's completely been transformed. It's completely changed. It's completely been modified. And it's been modified to the point where it's outside the original vision of the IP in the first place. And then you expect people to continue to like it. And it makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's back ass words. Again, you're right. They can make $1 billion every single time, rinse, repeat. But instead, they want their money. They want to make that money, but they also want to fundamentally change it because maybe they're just crazy ideologues, or maybe they're just dumb. I don't really know.
You know what's frustrating to me is like, yes, it's Star Wars. They're gonna make $600 to $1 billion, $600 million to $1 billion just on the name brand, because there's people like us. We're gonna go watch the movie one time, okay, and everybody else is too. But those $1 billion movies could be $2 billion movies because they're not getting the people like me and all of us that are going and rewatching Star Wars movies in the theater 4 or 5 times. Because that's what I used to do with Star Wars movies. I don't do that anymore. I don't buy the merch.
We're not buying the toy.
I don't buy the shirts. Right. I don't buy all these stupid pops behind me. Not one of them are from the Kathleen Kennedy era of movies. Not one. So, it's just, it is what it is. And it's really unfortunate. But I'm really curious. I feel like there's a shift going on right now. I don't know if you guys feel. I'm sure you do. I feel like there's a shift. I feel like we're starting to win. The Elon Musk stuff. We have a big election day coming up this week. I feel like the culture is tired of this bullshit that we've all been subjected to. I'm really curious what these new shows and products are going to look like. I mean, I'm already hearing things like Discovery, Star Trek Discovery. I heard they've completely pivoted for their next season as far as their woke messaging. I'll believe it when I see it, but I feel like maybe these people that are in charge of these things are starting to realize that there's money to be made out there more if they just circle back around to normalness.
Well,
normalcy.
As you remove the old showrunners, though, like if you remove showrunners that were on that path, and you inject showrunners that don't have an agenda or actually fans of the show, like they're going to attempt to course correct.
Yeah.
The thing about activists, though, is they don't care about money. It's more about the message. And that's the problem, is that most of the people running Hollywood now are activists who aren't capitalists. They don't care about making money. As long as the studios are willing to shell out millions and millions of dollars to them, they're going to use it to basically promote whatever it is they want to promote. And they're not going to care, because you have these franchises that are too big to fail, right? Like Star Wars. You can inject the most SJW messaging into those things, and it's going to survive because it's Star Wars. Now, if these were original IPs and they were falling flat on their face like left and right, that'd be a different thing. But they're co-opting legendary franchises in order to do this because they know that's the only way their message actually gets out there.
It's just, I do feel like, like we talked about earlier, Michelle Rejwan got demoted, right? She's one of those Lucasfilm feminist activist ladies.
From the Bad Robot School,
I feel like I know it's going to be a long, slow thing. I just feel like there's a shift starting to happen in the business, in the business and culturally, politically, social media. Like, things are, I think they're starting to like figure it out that we're tired of their nonsense. And I think it's going to be an interesting next couple of years. So I'll just leave it at that. We'll be talking about this a lot in the future. So
it's kind of funny to see how some of these companies are reacting. Like Netflix got rid of their diversity and inclusion department the minute they start feeling the financial strain. Warner Brothers Discovery, they're coming in, they're cleaning house because there's a bunch of wasteful spending going on there because of this stuff. And Twitter is another example of that, where you can cut 50-75% of the workforce and it doesn't affect the app at all.
The recession might be part of that too. Like, so as things start to get tight, there's no more free money. So like, before you can pour millions of dollars into a show that is not going to make money, but it's preaching your message and increasing your ESG score or whatever. But now that money is harder to come by and people are holding on to their money more. There's no free rides. You might actually have to make some decent stuff in order to get people to pry their wallets open.
Real quick, speaking of money, let me bring this up. And then Sci-Fi Gal 13 1999 super sticker that is very generous. Thank you so much. We appreciate that a lot.
So there's actually another comment from her that I want to highlight. So for me, it's not even about wokeness. I just want Hollywood to stop ruining my favorite movies and shows. They were already perfect. If I want to rewatch, thanks to technology, I can rewatch the original.
Yep.
An observation I wanted to make about the Willow series. The one good direction they did go in, it was that it's not a prequel. They're not retconning anything about it. So at least they're not, they're not changing, everything. They're not writing a bunch of retcons, but again, and they might wind up being one of these things that do a course correction for the next season. If they do it, I don't know, but I think you're right, Vader, that there's a shift coming, but the problem is there's just so much division. And and we've become, that's why I call it anti-social media, because it's not we've never been so divided as a culture.
The problem
disgusting.
is with social media, and I think most people agree with me, is these wackos out there. There aren't as many of them out there as people think there is.
People think there are. That's what I was
there
saying
are
before.
way more normal people that don't use social media than people that do, and they're very loud and they're very vocal, and they're very good at ganging up on people. They're very good at ratioing people,
coordinating.
and it is what it is. Social media is stupid. I'm not gonna lie, it's dumb. I look at it as just a kind of a fun little hobby that I use to promote the show with, and poke the bee's nest once in a while. That's what I use social media for. And it is what it is. It's a fun thing for me. But there's way more of us than there is of them. But I firmly believe that. And it just is what it is. What comment at VHS has a comment. Warner Brothers is probably ahead of the curve. I feel like they probably are. Don't you guys feel like maybe
I feel that
him going in there and making all these changes with DC and doing all this stuff? I think that guy, what's his name?
David Zaslav.
Zaslav. He's gone in there and he's making wholesale changes to what's happening over there.
Yeah.
He's pulling an Elon. He's really
I did have an observation too, because every semester I go throughout the semester and I ask my students, what are they watching? Have they gone to the cinema? Have they seen everything? And every time one of these superhero movies comes out, regardless of which franchise it is, that's always the first thing out. For months, I have yet to have a student even mention Black Adam, not one. And I'm like, why? And so I brought it to their attention last week. I was like, I haven't heard anybody talk about this, and a lot of them have expressed, because of it's David Zaslav and they don't want to. And I'm like, really? Because of the studio executive, this is what it takes to get you to stop watching superhero movies. I just thought it was really,
you're in a college. You're in a college where they're all a bunch of liberal scum.
So I'm just like, the thing is that when I made that observation, a number of them hadn't even realized that it was even out there. And because it's not getting, and that's the other thing, we don't see trailers anymore. Because we don't watch regular network television where the trailer comes up and everything like this. The only time you see trailers is if it's being promoted very specifically by a social media company, or if it's in your social media feed, or like if you're in the theater. So we don't see trailers anymore and stuff like this. But to not go see it simply because you happen to have some type of disagreement with the studio exec is just it was just so weird to me. I was like, nobody's seen this movie.
Yeah, I actually think that the critics, a lot of the audience score is in the 90 percentile, and the critic score is in like the 30 percentile. And you're like, okay, I wonder why. I do believe that a healthy portion of the critics' visceral approach to Black Adam is because of their politics.
Absolutely.
They hate Zaslav. They hate Warner Brothers. They hate, they canceled Batgirl. They're ruining inclusion. So like their first reaction to Black Adam before even seeing it, like they were going into that theater or that reviewer or that screener or whatever with the intention to tear that movie apart.
See, I had no idea who this character even is. I mean, but it's just, it's weird. It's a weird thing.
So speaking of franchises no one's talking about, let's talk about the last trailer for Avatar 2.
That was a terrible segue, Matthew. Terrible segue.
So basically, a brand new trailer for the last trailer for Avatar 2 has dropped. James Cameron's most expensive animated movie ever, and basically, it's a good trailer. It's better than the previous one we got, which was just a bunch of pretty images set to really kind of somber music. This one actually gives us some insight as to what the story is. But even that is not really saying much, because it's just kind of like, okay, well, now I kind of know more about what the movie's about, but I still don't care. There seems to be absolutely zero buzz about this franchise. I don't know why Fox decided to sink so much money into 5 follow-ups for it, but I want to get the panel's take on this as our last topic of the day. So, Odin, what's your take on the finals trailer for Avatar 2.
Actually, I chose not to watch it. It's just because it's no secret, I hated the first one.
Hated
from the
it.
very beginning. Could not stand it. All the people who were saying, who were telling me they enjoyed it, like the only thing I ever got for them was, oh, but the visuals and this and that. And there I am like, yeah, but it was Dances with Wolves meets Fern Gully, and both of those are better movies. So,
Yeah.
I mean, why would I want to waste my time on this? So I only saw the first trailer for it, and so you said that it's like marginally better. So yeah, I could say that I still have no hype for this movie whatsoever, because to me it's just gonna be yet another one of these reminders that James Cameron is wasting away the years he has left on Pandora, which only a few people actually care about. And two, I'm already crying at the number of movies that are once again going to be reformatted into 3D, because people are going to think that somehow is a thing, because this movie's still going to make a lot of money. It's not going to make nearly as much as the first, but it's going to make $1 billion at least, I think. So people, again, we're going to have another phase of the 3D fad crap.
Yep.
Now, Sean, James Cameron, he's a legendary filmmaker. I haven't seen a James Cameron movie that I've disliked. Avatar was probably my least favorite James Cameron movie, but he is a master of his craft. So I'm wondering if this movie is going to surprise people and be better than everyone thinks it is. What's your take on Avatar 2, The Way of Water?
Well, I walked out of the first one because I'd already seen this film several times. I saw Pocahontas, liked it better. I saw The Matrix, liked it better. Just like Odin said, I'd already seen these movies, Dances with Wolves. They were done so much better. There were no surprises for me in this, and I sat through about 30. I walked out at about the 35-minute mark, and I thought, because I don't need to engage in this. And then also, this thing has really run out of steam. I mean, if he'd have released it a couple of years after the first one, maybe, but we're going on how long has it been?
20 years.
I mean, it's been so long, and it's not really relevant anymore. And I think, is Sigourney Weaver going to still be a kangaroo in this one? I mean, what is my thing is, I don't think anybody's going to be talking about this movie. I don't think that it's going to get nearly what, and people certainly aren't going to need this many sequels to it. I mean, there's not enough investment in this particular IP, really. There's not. When it first came out, that's all I ever heard was the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't buy the cat people, first of all. I think it would have been better if they'd have just put people in outfits and done it that way. But the other thing is that, okay, the visuals were kind of interesting, but it's not enough to keep you in the seats. And again, there's not enough of this IP. It's not Star Wars. It's not. It doesn't have this grown up. We grow up watching this and stuff. It doesn't have that. So to invest that much money in this, I mean, how much is this? What was the budget on this new sequel?
So all of them,
hundreds of millions.
Let's say he was given $1 billion, and I think is it 4 or 5 movies he's making with that? So it's like $250 million per movie, basically.
Well, he's gonna learn the Amazon route. It's gonna do the same amount of money, and it's gonna wind up being another.
It'll make more money than Rings of
Power.
Power.
So the first one, coming out, the one in December, it's gonna make over $1 billion. That's just they're gonna the international community for some reason love the first one, so I think that's gonna happen again. The question is, how much less does it make versus the first one? Because that to me is going to be that metric of, okay, if your audience gets cut in half, I would not be surprised if it happens again after the second, and then
But so many things have changed since the first one came out, though.
Oh yeah,
the culture is different since the first one came out, and I don't think there's a lot of loyalty behind it left.
And that's the problem when the entire movie is based on visuals and not the story. Like, you don't care about the characters. I don't know what their names are. I don't care about the characters or the story whatsoever.
No. So Brian, speaking of that, when I was watching this final trailer, we see that the Zoe Saldana character is pregnant, and the entire time I'm just wondering, like, do the Na'vi have sex with their tails? Is that how that works? Because I don't see any genitals on anyone.
Yeah, as the queer rep here, The way they
Isn't
have
it-
sex is
Oh
their
my God.
tails intertwine and then come together, and they share their life force. I don't fucking know. It's
Isn't that also how they ride animals?
Yes. It's
yes.
how they.
So when they're writing animals, they're actually mating with the
You
You
animals.
just put
too.
a new visual in my head. Thank you very
Yeah.
The
much.
thing is, you don't care about the characters whatsoever. It's like, oh, it made all this money because it was so visually stunning in 3D and XX, whatever. But the story sucks. Like, if you're gonna make a bunch of money on this, it should have like Sean said, it should have happened like 3 or 4 years after then, not 20 years later. No one cares about the characters. When they're like, we're returning to Pandora, I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I have those exact same graphics now, actually better on my
computer.
3090.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I want to know. I do want to
Go
know how the rocks float.
I don't know.
That's kind of cool.
Another thing is too,
Unobtainium.
How the mountains float
Unobtainium.
around.
the
It can
fact
do
that they
anything.
just assume that they're gonna make it's gonna be knock out the park and they're gonna make 3 movies back to back is like
Yeah.
so arrogant. When
Yeah.
I can't even tell you what one of the names of one of the characters is in that show. I remember the name of the mineral, but I do not remember a single character's name
I remember
Because the name was so stupid.
because it was so
Oh,
stupid.
Jake Sully.
Unobtainium.
Jake
Jesus.
Sully.
Oh, that's right.
Is
I remember Wheelchair Guy and Aliens lady Sigourney Weaver
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah, the kangaroo.
and blue hot chick that was on Star Trek, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Gomorrah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense. The movie is gonna suck. I'm gonna say it again. It's gonna suck. I remember when the first one came out, everyone's telling me, you gotta go watch this. It's absolutely outstanding.
It's amazing.
And then I watched it and I'm like, and then I watched it like on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. And I was like, all right, well, I've seen this before. Pocahontas, Ferngully.
Yeah.
I've seen we've been dancing, we've seen this movie, and it's not special. The characters
Yeah.
weren't special. And honestly, the graphics, if you play video games,
Listen, my memory of watching this movie was a blinding headache because I had to put on those
Yeah.
stupid
Yep.
Yeah.
little dumb glasses. And listen, guys, I have a giant head. Okay.
yeah, he does.
So
everyone.
anytime I put those glasses on at a movie theater, it's like this, and it's just like it squeezes you, and it's just it's the worst thing in the world. So I don't like 3D movies. I don't watch them. This, like Brian said, the graphics. I need more. I'm a visual guy. I like pretty movies, but I need more than that as a drawing card to actually make me want to go support
I-
something
real
like
quick?
this. So
Yeah, when you said that, I remember something. Do you guys remember those NVIDIA like benchmark tests that you can do back in the day?
oh yeah.
Where you would like do like your benchmark, your new video card, and it would like go through like visual. And when I saw the first trailer, I was like, oh, so is this like the new NVIDIA card bench test thing?
benchmark. Yeah.
Because like it looked like one of the like video benchmark tests. It didn't.
Yeah.
It had
It-
nothing of value to it.
It looked like a demo for Unreal Engine 5, actually.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
But Matt Vader 74. So one of the
Yes, sir.
big things with James Cameron is that he's a big environmentalist, and the
Mhm.
first Avatar was a very thinly veiled environment good, industry bad messaging, and it looks like this is doubling down on it. What do you make of this trailer? Did you think that the story was any better than the first one?
Listen, I just saw a bunch of pretty graphics and a bunch of aliens swimming around with alien fish. It was. I mean, what do they want? It was just. It's like, oh, look, it looks like an Avatar movie.
Do they entangle their members with the fish
Oh,
too?
he's like, with
They do.
it's like, I don't know, man.
The penis is intertwined, and they can ride the fish.
Why do you gotta make it
Alien-
weird? Why do you gotta make
Alien
it
ass
weird?
penises.
Yeah.
You know what I thought? I thought they should have given Don Lemonor an alien with tangles so he could go talk to Jeff and let him know that Jeff was gonna like get cut down before
It's
he.
like their ponytails, right?
Yeah, thank you, man.
Exactly.
So
penis
you're
ponytail.
you're saying you wanted him to fuck Jeff before?
Yeah,
you got
whatever.
back in?
Let's have a moment.
Imagine if Don Lemon walks up there and goes, 1 second. He goes, someone bring me that. He starts making a little hole. He's like,
Stop.
Jeff,
Stop.
Jeff, one more time.
I'm really sorry, Jeff.
I'm sorry.
really
about
sorry.
that.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
You guys are the worst.
It's just a shot from Superstar. Remember when she's making out with the tree? Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, but
It's gonna be fine, Jeff. You know you want this.
I don't. Are we done? Are we getting out of here?
Yes. And on that note, we will end today's stream. Odin, where can people find out more about you? And if you have any final thoughts, now's the time to share them.
Yeah, you can find me over at OMB Reviews on YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble. I have a Discord community as well. You can find that in the description of any of my videos on my channel. And once again, thank you to the amazing Salty crew for having me on. And these streams have always been a lot of fun. So thank you again.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on. Sean, the Crabapple Critic, where can people find out more about you? And do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with us?
Well, College of Southern Nevada is where you can find me in the videography and film program. Everybody is welcome if you're in the Vegas filmmaking community to join our film club, because it's not just for this school. We're trying to reach out to other schools, UNLV, NSC, and any of the other film schools out there, and just get involved and start making content. And everybody is welcome, and everybody has value. So we're always, looking for, expansion. Get the, it's not about me, because I don't do any social media, but yeah, that's, look into it, and, let's make some films together.
And is your movie going to be available anywhere anytime soon?
I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Like I said, it was a calling card type of thing to say, and it was a good training tool for me to learn how to actually model and in composite CGI. That's basically what it was, because I knew how to do it. I knew how to do it, but yeah,
put it up on Tubi and make some money off of it.
Maybe I could do that. Yeah.
All right, Brian from the Popcast, where can people find more of you? And do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share?
Yeah, Avatar sucks. It just does. I hate the fact that it will forever be cemented at the top of the movie chart. I hate that so much. Endgame, and I've said this a billion times, I don't care what your opinions are of Endgame. It took 12 movies to create that masterpiece, and it's still sitting underneath Avatar. And it makes me furious every time I see it. I get sick to my stomach that Avatar is still beating that movie. It's so stupid. That's my final thoughts.
Wow.
You can find me at the Popcast Live, which is our live show, or at the Popcast on YouTube. So YouTube/the Popcast. Also, onlyfans.com/Klingons are also fun. That's our new account. We're really desperate for money, and we have a DC channel too called DC Unleashed, and I think we just got the @ handle for that, so it's at DC Unleashed.
Sweet.
Yeah, and if you don't support the Popcast, you are against queer, trans, LGBTQ people. So
And Latinx.
And Latinx, yes.
I have no idea what the X stands for, but it's part of it.
But he is their representative.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Matt Vader 74, where can people find you? And do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with us?
Final thoughts. Man, that was a fun show today, guys. Thanks again for you guys all being here. Odin, it's always awesome to have you here. Sean, you're always fun. And Brian, you're here every week, so whatever. But
I knew you were gonna say that.
I want to do a couple quick shout outs. First off, I want everybody to go out and subscribe to my friend Tom over at the Rogue Attractions channel. He's only like 60 or 70 subs away from getting monetized. He's been working super hard over there. He does a lot of fun reviews and theme park walkthroughs and stuff. That's what he does over there. So go check out the Rogue Attraction. Also, I want to thank Huffman and our boy Huffman, who comes on once in a while, and the people over at what is that website called?
I was gonna hit that
yeah.
before we got
All right,
out
well,
here.
I'll let you do
Mark,
that one. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, Mark Huffman, who's one of our panelists who comes on occasionally, he was interviewed by Bounding Into Comics, and there's a great article where he kind of goes through his take on Lord of the Rings. Gary from Nerdrotic went through his tweet thread, kind of like deconstructing Lord of the Rings, and gave him a big shout out. Told people to follow him on Twitter. Got him this interview on on Bounding Into Comics. And if you don't follow Huffman on Twitter, he's got a really good down to earth take on a bunch of stuff, and he's a friend of the show. I've known him for quite some time, and when he is on the show, his insights are always appreciated. So if you guys, the link to that article will be in the description of this video. But if you want to go check him out on Twitter, his Twitter handle is Huff4Congress with the letter number 4. So like you can find him on there.
Yeah, buy his books.
Yeah.
And other than that, no, I had a really good time today, guys. This was a lot of fun. You can find me at MattVader74, just like it says underneath my big head, right down here. And what do we got going on this week, Matt?
A whole bunch of nothing.
A whole bunch
We
of
got
nothing.
we got another retro rewatch coming out where we took a look at the Valley of Gwangi, which is a dinosaur movie. And we've also got an interview coming out, hopefully, if I can get it done in time. We're kind of taking things a little bit easy during November, and then December we're going to have a lot of skits and bits that we're going to be putting out, which should be a lot of fun.
Skits and bits. All right.
Skits and bits.
But you can find us here every Saturday talking about stuff. And I want to thank our expert panel of nerds for being here. You guys are always welcome. And I also want to give a quick shout out to everyone who gave us super chats today. Fluffy Panda,
Yes.
as always, we really appreciate you. Gavin Blackburn, R to the Icky, JT, Dennis Wright, and Sci-Fi Gal. Thank you all so much. But also Astro Nerd Boy, $100. Oh my goodness. Best super chat we've ever gotten. Thank you so much for that.
Sushi this weekend. Let's go.
Exactly. So Astro Nerd Boy, thank you. You are definitely in the Salty Nerd Hall of Fame for that tip. We really appreciate it. And as always, everyone, thank you for being here and stay salty.